So, what if UFOs, the afterlife, and even strange messages from the future weren't actually separate mysteries at all? What if they were all connected, all part of one single cosmic system? We're going to break down the key ideas from a really fascinating Q&A with Dr. Stephen Greer that tries to tie it all together.
Right, so this is the big question that gets the whole thing started. You've got UFOs over here, you've got people having experiences with loved ones who've passed on, and then you've got these ideas of beings from other dimensions. Are they all just different pieces of the exact same puzzle? It's a huge thing to think about, but the answer we get from the source material is surprisingly straightforward. Yeah, they are.
And that's really the core claim right there. It's not a bunch of different random phenomena. It's all one seamless, interwoven system. The source even calls it a conscious hologram of creation. But, and this is super important, just because it's all connected doesn't mean it's all the same thing. And getting that distinction right is absolutely crucial. So to really get a handle on this, we need to dig into the framework Dr. Greer calls the new cosmology. This is the theory that basically holds this whole interconnected view together. Okay, so what in the world is this conscious hologram? Well, the idea is that our physical reality, the afterlife, all these different dimensions, they aren't in separate, neat little boxes. They're all woven together. So a being could, in theory, move between these dimensions, materialize, dematerialize, and that, you can imagine, could cause a whole lot of confusion for anyone watching. You know, this analogy from the source just hits the nail on the head. It's all about discernment. Your fingernails and your eyeballs are both part of you, right? But you treat them very, very differently. The same logic applies here. An ET and a spirit from the afterlife might exist in the same cosmic system, but they are not the same thing. And if you mix them up, you can get into some major misunderstandings. And this gets to one of the biggest points of confusion out there. People are always asking, so, are they ETs from space, or are they interdimensional beings? And the argument here is that this is a totally false choice. It's like asking if a fruit is round, or if it's orange-colored, or if it's an orange. It can be all three. Think about it. An advanced being from another star system would almost have to be transdimensional just to be able to travel those vast distances. Okay, so now that we've kind of laid that groundwork, let's move on to a really specific and honestly a pretty compelling puzzle that came up. It really makes you rethink any assumptions you might have about how powerful these beings are. It's a fantastic question, isn't it? I mean, if these beings are so advanced they can zip across galaxies and pop between dimensions, how could they possibly be stuck in a cage underground? Well, the answer we're given is actually pretty complex. It's a mix of technology, high-stakes strategy, and even biology. So here's the breakdown. It's just not that simple. First off, their tech gets zapped. Their systems are totally fried by things like electromagnetic pulses, so they're basically stranded. Second, a rescue mission is a strategic trap. Any attempt to break them out would have to be a physical, kinetic event, and you know that would be filmed and immediately spun as a hostile alien invasion. That's the exact scenario they want to avoid. And finally, and this is interesting, not all ETs are on the same level. Some might really rely on their tech to do things like teleport, and they just can't do it with their consciousness alone. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. We've been talking about some pretty heavy strategic stuff. But the source material makes it really clear that these beings aren't just stoic, cosmic thinkers. There's another side to them. That's right, playful. The source actually emphasizes that these beings can have a great sense of humor, and that a feeling of joy and lightheartedness is a really important part of making contact. It's a side of this whole phenomenon that you almost never hear about. And we're not just talking in generalities here. The source gives these really specific, almost whimsical examples, like an orange just deciding to roll off a tray all by itself, or an object that someone was about to use for typing just vanishes, or a specific thing in a room lighting up right on cue. These little weird events are presented as their way of saying, hey, we're here, in a light, playful way that doesn't freak people out. Okay, let's get to our final section. And for this one, we're diving into one of the most famous UFO cases in history, Rendlesham Forest, but with a detail that you might have never heard before. So, the scene is set in 1980, right near a US Air Force base in the UK, a base that was secretly housing nuclear weapons. This incredible onyx black pyramid-shaped craft lands. The military personnel who see it watch as a beam of light comes out of the craft, and through this light, a being communicates a message. And what it said, well, it's pretty staggering. According to the source, that's what the being said. We are your descendants from 500,000 years in the future. Just let that sink in. Not aliens from another planet, but humans. Us. From our own distant future. That's a mind-bending idea all on its own. But it didn't end there. See, this whole encounter wasn't just a hello. It was a warning. It was a direct message that was tied to those nuclear weapons on the base and to the entire path that humanity was on.
And that was the final, chilling part of the message. It's a complete paradox. We are your descendants. But if you keep going down this road, that future, our future, won't exist. It's an absolutely profound warning that really leaves us with one critical question. What path are we on right now?